Okay, so here we are back at Lake Bala. The lake's looking, I don't know, there's some tide on it. Let's have a little closer look at the lake today. Oh, there's some little ducks. Oh dear, I startled them. So we can see the trout spawn's gone. So that happened within a week as usual. And you can see here we've got some waves, which is always a good sign of wind. And I can feel some wind. It's really gentle. I think as on windy.com it's about, I think it said 4 knots, not miles an hour, 4 knots, which is ample, and I'm hoping is going to be perfect for me to actually get out there and have a little sail without it being all a bit too dramatic like my first ever sail was. Here's the boat, we're ready to rock and roll. Just got to get the gaff up and we're already rigged, ready to go. So we're up sailing. There's not much wind, but there are some gusts. We've got the centre board all the way down and we're sailing. Oh, something vibrating on the boat, weirdly. And I've noticed if I sit right forward, like almost where I sit when I've got my outboard on, I like to sit here, you know, keep right in the centre of the boat, then oh my god, it's so much more controllable. Before I was trying to sit right back there, and I think the trouble is my weight. Okay, I'm going to try and do a tack. It's going to demand all of my concentration. Let's hope we don't get stuck. Release that. Oh wow, that's like literally my first successful half-polished tack. Just going to raise the centre board a little bit. Yeah, I think the centre board was vibrating for some reason. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm aiming for the car. I'm making very, very slow progress at the moment, but I'm trying to keep a line with the sails are flapping, so I need to tighten them in. I'm trying to keep a line with my car. There it is. And I know the wind's coming from over there. My little wind vane's awesome. I hope I don't lose it again. But anyway, that was tacking. You know, the other thing about tacking was I was trying to do everything with the jib, and you know, the jib up, the sail up. I didn't even know how to truly adjust my halyards. Not my halyard. I think that's the. I think it's that halyard. I'm not quite sure what this is called. You know, and how to basically tune the sail. So what I was doing was I had the sail really, really baggy, and of course the first time I sailed, I think it was 10 or 12 knot winds. The guy, someone told me, said, you know, I was doing really well. So my sails were just overpowered, and you know, since then I've read and read and read, and you know, it's been brilliant what I've read and whatnot. So at the moment I tried to do like a little heave-to. So I pointed the boat into the wind. I've got the rudder pointing to steer that way, and I've got the jib on the wrong side of the mast, so the wind is kind of pushing that onto there. There's so little wind, I don't know whether I hove to or whether we just ran out of steam. And then the main sail is just free to follow the wind. So I've got to figure that out. There's loads of stuff you read about in books about, you know, sailors heave-toing in storms, but I don't understand how you can just let your... Oh, haha, we've just hit a buoy. Not to worry. Let's try and... Okay, we cleared that. Yeah, could have capsized us that. Oh well, crikey. So we're gently drifting back to the cafe at the moment, so if all else fails we'll just drift back to the sailing club and the cafe, and we'll have a coffee and we'll wonder about what we're going to do next. Anyway, this at least gives me a chance to bail out some water. I still haven't figured out this self-bailing valve I've got on the bottom of the boat fully. I don't know, it seems to let water in when it feels like it, and it never lets water out. I don't know. I'll have to, when I get the outboard on, we'll have a little play with that and just see how that works. Okay. Right, I'm just going to sit here and wait for some winds, I guess. Every time I sort of manage to get near home, the wind just picks up a little bit, but it's really, I'm really struggling. Do you know what? I've learnt a lot today. I've been out on the lake for sort of, oh wow, nearly about half 10. So nearly 2.5 hours today. And the wind is becoming, excuse me, it started out really cool, like no breeze, really amazing, just what I need, nice and relaxed. But it's now becoming a struggle without any breeze. You do need a little bit of breeze for sailing, I guess. So I've got this crappy little paddle, but it's good enough for sort of getting you home. So I might just try and paddle my way in. We are gradually drifting in. I've been playing with the centerboard actually. If you have it up, you just drift over that way. If you pull it down, you can feel the boat tracks for, you know, more true. So that's really amazing, you know. I'm still at that stage in sailing where I'm sitting here thinking, how does that do that, you know? So you know, we're nearly there. To be honest with you, another 10 meters I can just get out and walk, so I think we'll do that. You can see that if I just show you the lake as well, the wind's all but gone. I mean, there's pretty much nothing. We had a few little waves and ripples, and we had a you know, I managed to sail all the way right up out there to Buoy B, so you can see those red canoes about somewhere there, somewhere up there. I sailed to around there, did a bit of tacking, did some gybing, which was great. The wind's so, you know, so quiet that I managed to do some gybing, quite proud of that. Hove to, or at least I think I hove to, and then just sort of drifted about. And I actually ended up using the rudder, sort of waggling the rudder to get the last sort of 30-40 meters, because there's just no wind, look. So we're going to get the motor on. So as you've seen in the workshop, this was a piece of wood, and what I'm going to do is that's going to go here, because I want to get the motor in the middle of the boat, not on the side. It definitely doesn't like being on the side. So I'm just going to drill 2 holes in the transom. I figure there's 2 drainage holes here anyway. A couple more aren't going to make any difference. I can fill them if I need to. So let's just do it. He who dares wins. I don't know what even you call this, the motor holder fitted. I couldn't get, so originally I was going to put this block here, but unfortunately you can see the bolts I had are just not long enough, so I'm just going to go with the metal plate. That should, I just don't want to damage the transom any more than I have to, but that metal plate should sort of spread the load. It's pretty central, and then you can see I've got these butterfly bolts, so I can, you know, undo them quite easily. It's really fortunate actually, I don't have a spanner for this, or one that fits, so these sort of tightened up quite nicely. This is all glued and nailed together, so that's ready to mount the motor. Here's the motor mounted. I love it. I'm really pleased with this. So, you know, yeah, that's gonna, I think that'll be okay, because it's usually excuse me, it's usually quite a constant pressure, so it'll be going like that. So we'll see how it works. That's the whole point of this. I like the way the motor, I thought the motor was a little bit too deep. I mean, they're supposed to be roughly parallel to the bottom of the hull, but on a dinghy where it's quite bent and curved, it's quite hard to see where the bottom of the hull is. But I definitely thought the motor was a little bit it was a little bit low. It was certainly too low to launch. It was hard to launch. So this extra sort of 3 or 4 inches will be really cool. The other thing I can do now is, I hope the camera sees this, this will come up and there's a lot more room to do that much more easily, which is brilliant. You can see it's pretty damn central enough for me anyway. I've just been for a little coffee. I'm moored up at the cafe over there. The outboard is kind of looking okay so far. I mean, I only came up to the to the cafe and now here. But so far it's really cool. I've got it at 200 watts. We got about, let's have a little look, got about 6 hours of run time off that. And we'll just see if you can see that there. And I've got my new tiller arm on, so I don't know if you can see this. So it means I can sort of, to be honest with you, I thought this was going to be the perfect size, this one, but it turns out this is too long, I think, because the arc required to steer is quite big. So actually when you're out on the water like this, it's actually quite nice because you're just tweaking it. Sometimes you can let go and just tweak it slightly, but I'm finding myself, I don't know if you can see, finding myself holding it sort of here. It's really cool, this lake. I love it here. There's so much to do. And there's the train. Beautiful little choo-choo train. We'll just get the motor going again. There. I was just going to come into this little cove over here actually. Seeing as we're not sailing, we do a little bit of exploring of the lake, so we'll just go and have a little look. There's a lot of flies on the lake. Oh no, it's not flies, it's I think it's like some real seeds floating off the trees. It's a beautiful day, absolutely stunning day. For those of you that aren't accustomed to the British weather, especially the Welsh and the northwest of England, it's cold, it's wet, rainy, and pretty miserable most of the time. You get used to it, but it's now, I'm trying to think, it's now, I think it's officially summertime now here, and we've had some amazing temperature. We've had 25 degrees yesterday. So, we've got to enjoy the weather in Britain, in the UK, while you can. I actually, when I've been sailing here, I've actually thought this was the end of the lake. But this isn't even halfway down the lake. So you can see how far we've come. I mean, I can't even see the boat, the Bala Sailing Club anymore. But this is only halfway down. We're making headway. The great thing about boating is, you're never in a rush. The whole point of boating, in my opinion, is to enjoy it, enjoy the moment. I believe, I've just been looking on the map, is like a campsite, and a lot of people come here. I'm just going to switch the motor off, hang on. Because there's a lot of people around here. So yeah, people just come here, canoe, camp, sail off here. I think you can just come down, sail off here. So it's pretty cool. I mean, there's kids over there just playing in the water. It's nice, it's amazing really. So we're about halfway down the lake. See how far we've come. You can just pick out the sports centre right in the distance, about, if I go there-ish, you can see there's some cars and that. So we'll have a little peek, we'll have a little explore around the corner just to see how far we can go, and then I think we'll probably turn back. I mean, I don't know, the wind sort of picks up and then dies, so I don't really know what to do. I'd like to get sailing, that's the whole point of this, but it has been really nice exploring the lake. I'm having a tomato and a ham sandwich. I try to eat quite healthy, so ham's a bit of a treat for me, and also it was all I've had in the house, so this is a nice little treat for me. The other thing is, I've just noticed this here. I think that's the little, I don't know what you call it, but I think it's where you get the wind and whatnot information from, for like windy.com and things like that. So that's interesting. Got so much battery left, I decided just to see what would happen if we just go full pelt for a little while. Seems really settled, it's really cool. So this is the sports centre right at the other end of the lake. So Bala Sailing Club's over there, and this is like just a sports activity centre, and you can just do anything off here. You just pay the ranger the day fee, and you can just do whatever you want to do on here. Loads of canoes. It's a really popular canoeing lake. There's like a challenge you can do to canoe all the way down the lake. I mean, that's a pretty decent challenge. So I think you can moor up there, so if you just wanted to stop and have something to eat, you can moor up there. There's actually a little mirror dinghy over there as well, like mine. The new piece of wood here to hold this the outboard onto the mirror dinghy is a massive success. Not only does it put the propeller at the right height, it's made it really easy to get in and out of the boat, and I think before the propeller was so low it just hit the floor. I had to push the boat right out, it's so shallow here, but it's held pretty well and just was a joy to use. Got a few things I've got to do. First of all, the aluminium pole, it wasn't my first choice of aluminium pipe because it is quite thin, so it flexes a little bit, so when you're steering it does flex a little bit, and then this silicone handle has sort of come off, so I made a load of holes and hoped that the silicone would all join up inside, which it did, but it has actually broke. I felt it go, so look, now you can twizzle that. You can't alter the throttle very easily at all, so there's a few little improvements. Off camera I did have a quick go with the tiller with the kink in it. However, two things with this. First thing is massively too long. I just couldn't do anything with it, and the other thing is I don't think I need this knuckle. I think this is roughly the right height, right length, or I need a little bit shorter, so I might get a shorter one and try that next time I come out here. So I'm going to try and dry this wood out now at home in the sun, and let's hope that dries up and I can paint it, otherwise I just have to make a new one. But I'm really chuffed, really chuffed with this. I think it's gone really well.